Thank you, Mother, Father, God. Thank you, archangels and ascended masters, for the perfect peace that is here for us right now. We choose to make way for angelic love, angelic presence, and also the presence of goddesses, guides, masters, and loved ones. We choose to make room, and we choose not to keep the ball spinning like Atlas above our heads. We choose to allow the weight of the ball that is our lives to be shared and equally distributed. So, in this moment right now, with immediacy, we very simply hand over anything that feels like weight, anything that feels like having to maintain balance. We hand that over to Archangel Raphael, the goddess Radha, and also Lady Portia. So, if we could just see that distribution happening, perhaps off of the top of your head, off of your heart, off of your cells. And if we could truly take that seriously and allow ourselves to have this wonderful experience of handing over worry, handing over concerns with health or any challenges with health, handing over any old ideas or old constructions around our personality, which might include confidence, to allow help to happen, to allow perfect clarity to exist. So if we could just breathe into all that. And if we could say out loud to our own psyche and our own muscular system, I release holding the weight of the world. I allow my soul to be replenished right now. I celebrate the goodness of the earth right now. And I choose to live in health and ease. Wonderful. And if we could notice everything taking on the enchantment of a fairy tale. So if perhaps the weight that you surrendered becomes a huge, huge pumpkin, and if we could notice Lady Portia, who works with karma, works with opening, closing doors, if we could notice Lady Portia positioning herself on the top of that pumpkin, which is quite large, like a car. And if we could just breathe in and notice what happens with this enchantment and what happens to you, if we could notice the goddess Radha, um, who is quite physically large, if we could very simply just notice her focusing on you and perhaps coming to you and lifting you up. And if we could notice this embrace from this goddess and let her, every single aspect of her, her skin, her touch, her heart, her breath, all contain love. Just letting her lift you up in this moment. And if we could truly just breathe into this fact, in this moment, there's nothing for you to do. There is no task. There is no striving. There's only receptivity. And if we could notice Radha's words to you, which are, let me love you. And if we could just say out loud directly to her, thank you for loving me. I allow myself to be loved right now. Good. And with simplicity, not complexity, if we could notice you being embraced by this goddess, and if we could notice Archangel Raphael creating his own Fibonacci circle around you, which is a perfect ratio. We can notice him walking, beginning to walk around you in a perfect circle that expands. And each new ring of his circle is a circle of protection that moves any negativity away from you, any fear away from you, including your own, any sense of lack moving away from you, any idea of chaos moving away from you, becoming order, and a continuation of grace and peace. So, if we could just come back to a reminder of our perhaps major theme of this moment right now, which is to allow the angels, the guides, the goddesses to help, to let their help, to let their help be an experience, to be physical, to have impact, and to not be conceptual. So if we could breathe in and just allow good things to happen. And if we could notice what it's like to kind of, this may not be true for everyone, but to nudge your mind back to being present right now and to feel all that goodness. And noticing with simplicity, well, let's just say this out loud. I am me right now. I'm not someone else. I allow myself to enjoy receiving right now. And if we could notice with Lady Portia on top of the huge pumpkin, what she has in a short period of time transformed that pumpkin into, be it a pie, be it something else, be it a sculpture. And if we could notice Radha and Lady Portia moving you to a new location on a soul level, and just noticing the comfort and peace that that relocation brings. Perhaps a quieter space. Let us lovingly notice all this goodness, all this peace, all this love being right here, right now. And if we can come back to the most immediate action, which is Radha embracing you, and whether it's the first time you're meeting her or a repeat visit, if we could notice, just place your attention on her as she loves you and showers you with affection, and just noticing unconditional love in action and noticing anything that she wants to communicate to you through words, through touch, through telepathy, through feeling. Uh, and we'll notice a very specific action she's doing right now, which is taking problems out of your cells. Anywhere that problems are stored in your cells, habitual problems, which might be insecurities and such, let's let her extract those, which is effortless for her. And if we could feel into the positive changes that are happening in this instant, And perhaps if we could feel those changes as opposed to try to think through them. And if we could notice what it's like to feel seen, heard, and held, what it's like to have something new happen, what it's like to be graciously loved, and what it's like to be protected. So if we could glance at Archangel Raphael, who perhaps is maybe about two football fields away from you, 200 yards away from you, he's creating this perfect circle of protection around you. If we could really feel that, and perhaps with the distance that he is, if we could notice him continuing to push things away from you that don't serve you, including distraction, including the energy of other people. And if we could notice something that might seem trivial or trite, but is significant, if we could notice that Raphael, Radha, and Lady Portia, they know exactly what to do. They're not confused, they're not pondering. They're taking strong action for you right now. And they do that with incredible love and incredible skill. And with that same awareness in mind, if we could notice a second wave of guides and angels coming forward, if we could notice very simply Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Ariel coming forward like reinforcements, and let's let them enhance all that has been done, which is the weight of the world being lifted off of you. And if we could let this second wave come through and let them very simply take care of anyone you're concerned about, a friend that you're helping, children and their spouses and grandchildren, your own health, anyone who's trying to help who's not necessarily being helpful, which might include yourself. If we could just notice help happening on a different layer, and if we could let that go into communities or individuals that you might have a wariness around or disagree with, let's let that happen. But if we could let the main activity continue to be your receptivity and you being loved, we'll just notice this second wave of Michael, Gabriel, and Ariel taking action with other people in your life. So if we could just breathe and let all that happen. And to know that right where you are, love is. And if we could say that out loud as an affirmation, right where I am, love is. Wonderful. Radha's taking a moment to take note of and reflect for you the distance of your journey in this lifetime, the different locations, the different activities, the variance in roles that you've played from child to adolescent to adult. Perhaps from daughter to wife to mother to artist. to widow. If we could just notice all that distance and letting anything in that, any assigned role, any rigidity around that, be lifted off by Radha. So anything, any of those roles that feels crusty or outdated, let's let her clean that off and allowing in this moment for you to be you. And for you to be the radiant soul that you are. To paraphrase Ram Dass, that you are not the sum of your social roles, that you are significant. And if we could just notice these guides, goddesses, and angels meeting you and recognizing you as significant. So if we could just breathe in and feel their care for you. Good. And if we can notice a different guide coming forward, which is Freddie Mercury from Queen, if we could just take in a breath and just notice his presence, and if we could let him communicate to you individually around confidence and perhaps his journey with confidence. And let's let him communicate. He's making a joke, which is if you were giving a TED talk, it'd be the iconic nature of your life. If we could just breathe in and just notice what else he communicates to you. Part of his presence is he'd like each of us to plug into his energy, which in physical life is very full. Let's just notice what it's like for Freddie as a guide to fill you up. We'll just breathe into that, be that through a touch or just a connection. And with whatever proximity Freddie has from you, let's let him sing directly to you. And if that's notes or a song, let's just let that voice, those waves of sound go through your body, which perhaps might dislodge old energies and spark a reminder of who you are, the pristine nature of your soul. What it is to be an artist, what it is to have ownership of yourself. And age is irrelevant in that equation. And just noticing him singing, intoning directly into your body. And if we could notice, like in a Queen song, Radha joining in to sing, Lady Portia, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Ariel, and from a distance, Archangel Raphael. And if we could notice them cheering you on in this moment. And this statement may not be for your conscious mind or for your experience at this moment, but if we can notice Freddie saying, "You are not lost. You are right here." And if from Freddie's voice, "I see you." And if we could let Freddie hold you, embrace you, perhaps in a slightly different way than Radha has been holding you. Wonderful. If we could breathe in, whatever this means to you, let's let Freddie talk to you about death. Wonderful. We could just take in a breath. We're going to go on a little trip here. And if we could just recognize we're just going to have a different perspective, we could notice what it's like to be outside of this human life right now. And as your soul, if we could take a moment to forgive everyone, which might be easier than in human form, which is their goal at the moment. If we could just breathe in, and if we could just lovingly say out loud, "I forgive everyone for everything 100% right now. I forgive myself for everything 100% right now. I forgive all of humanity for everything 100% right now. I ask for forgiveness for everything 100% right now. I choose to love 100% right now. I choose to be loved 100% right now. I am love. Wonderful. We could just take in a breath. And in this soul space, which might be like a party, if we could notice David Bowie just coming forward, if we could notice the instant gift his presence provides for you, and we'll just notice David just making a cameo. And let's very simply notice Freddie escorting you back into your body. And if we could just notice with conscious awareness how loved you are, all that's available right now, and the presence of love in your life in this moment, in this second. And if we could notice perhaps, coming back to paraphrasing Ram Dass, what it's like to it not mattering who's around and who's not. That if you're alone, it's okay. If you're with other people, it's okay. Just notice this space of grace, and that in every single moment you are seen, you are heard, you are loved, you are protected, you are infused with grace, and good things are here. So if we could let all of those things perhaps move to the floor, any idea or experience of confusion. And if we could say out loud, like a eureka moment, if we could say out loud, I know what to do. Good. We could just breathe in and to feel the appreciation for you. Wonderful. And we're going to acknowledge Freddie as he moves away with a blown kiss and bravado. We could notice him vacating the space. If we could notice Michael, Gabriel, and Ariel helping other people that you know, including people who might be in the other room. Let's come back to Radha, Raphael, and Lady Portia. If we could just breathe in and notice what they communicate to you with their presence, with their proximity, with their words. Wonderful. If we could notice in this moment, and perhaps looking back on the last 20 minutes or so, tension draining out of your body, especially out of your jaw. Their presence being very strong, palpable, and good things being here. And if we could say out loud from the heart to Radha, Lady Portia, and Raphael, thank you.
Thank you.
I choose to continue loving myself. Wonderful. And once again, we'll say to them, thank you so much. And we'll note the strong, pervasive, and permanent protection that Raphael has placed around you, which is mighty, in him using the perfect ratio, Fibonacci code. If we could just breathe into that. He's saying it's like cement. That doesn't limit you, but it's rock solid protection. So if we could just feel that, and we'll notice these two goddesses and this archangel, and we'll notice that we're here right now, and we are loved, have been loved, and will be loved. And if we could say that out loud, I am loved right now. I have been loved. I will be loved. And I choose to love others. My life is about love. And I'm surrounded by love. Wonderful. With a lovely inhale, we thank the presence of Mother, Father, God, and all the archangels and ascended masters. We thank as well the angelic realm, the elemental realm, our ancestors, spirit guides, animal guides, and guardian angels. We thank you for this opportunity to be ourselves, to receive care, and we continue to receive care. We allow anything that feels like a problem to diminish into a space of opportunity. We allow the fact that we do know to matter, and we allow our confidence, the clear guidance that we have, and the self-determination that we have to move ourselves forward, to propel ourselves into different situations, including taking risks. We allow all that to be simple and easy and to be done with a smile. And we choose to transcend circumstances like Freddie Mercury did and David Bowie did. And we choose to arrive right in this moment with a new sense of confidence, security, and support. And with generosity, peace, and ease, we thank all the guides who came forward. With generosity, peace, and ease, we quite simply and lovingly ask for this or something better right now in all directions of time. And so it is.